Okay, Jim.
Excellent. As one might guess from the color of my hair, I am likely by a wide margin the oldest person here. I'm 80. I'm 14 years retired from the practice of law in a large law firm that had 64 lawyers when I started and now is approaching 2,000. Whether that's a good thing or not is debatable. Let's just say I'm happy to be retired and writing. My writing is generally in two genres: shorts in kind of a Twilight Zone genre, and features generally in the comedy, romantic comedy blend with a few other things perhaps thrown in. And I tend to go back and forth. I'm doing research and outlining on one while writing the other, and it keeps me out of trouble. Uh, the the one thing I will add as kind of an editorial comment: we talk about writers and our role with respect to movies. I believe that writers will be the last survivors in producing movies in the AI environment. Because if we read something that AI has written as a screenplay, we should not worry much, at least not yet. All the other things, AI does a pretty good job and is getting much better. But writing, no. And that puts a smile on my face.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
the selection is from a short that I titled Pinball Heaven. And I have selected, I think it's 6.5 pages from it. My shorts tend to be on the longer side. I tried desperately to keep them under 20 pages without much success. So more of my shorts are in the 20 to 25 pages. So this one took a little surgery. By way of background to the story, I will share that I believe life is a pinball game. That is, we start out, the ball goes, it bounces around on the platform of life, and things happen that we might never even imagine. And when the game is over, we have the life that we lead. So, with that in mind, here is a selection from Pinball Heaven. Exterior, storefront, Pinball Heaven signage, establishing shot day. Ben Tate, mid-30s business executive, walks past the Pinball Heaven shop, stops and turns back. He looks through the glass but cannot see in. He decides to enter and opens the door. Interior, Pinball Heaven shop day. The shop is dark and empty. Destiny, a woman in her early 30s, appears and approaches Ben. Destiny, have you come to play pinball? Ben, no, well, maybe. I walk past here every day and I've never seen this place before. Destiny, we often see but fail to notice. Ben, are you open for business? I don't see any players. Destiny, you don't see them? Can you hear the pinball machines? Ben, chuckling, I don't hear any pinball sounds. My hearing is fine and pinball machines are loud. Destiny waves her arm and there are players at every pinball machine. Pinball machine sounds. Destiny waves her hand and the pinball machine sounds stop completely. The players freeze, motionless. Destiny, are you happy, Ben? Job, family, friends? You know my name? I don't know yours. Destiny, you may call me Destiny. The how I know your life matters. You're not a lawyer. You recruit lawyers for law firms. Being a lawyer was all you ever wanted to be, but you quit law school because you got your girlfriend pregnant. She's my wife now. I know about arguments, Destiny says. The fights, a probable divorce. I even know about the DNA test. Ben, you couldn't know that, Destiny. And now you know that the child is not yours and that you got tricked into marrying someone you thought you'd gotten pregnant. Ben, paternity fraud. Destiny. So let's sum up here, Ben. You got tricked into marrying a woman carrying someone else's child and dropped out of law school. You wanted to be a lawyer. Ben, yes, Destiny. The man's child she was carrying was my stepbrother's. How do I live with that? Destiny, would you change it? Ben, you mean a do-over of my life? Destiny, you didn't let me finish. Would you change it even if you had no idea how your life would play out? If it was as you call it, a do-over, where everything was determined by random chance? Ben, interesting. A total roll of the dice? No guarantees. You'd have no knowledge of anything in this life. Ben, what happens if I say I would roll the dice and take my chances? Destiny, you play pinball. That's it? I play pinball? It's more complicated than that, but yes. Ben, I need to think about this. I'll come back tomorrow if I'm going to do it. Destiny, don't wait past tomorrow. Interior, Pinball Heaven shop, next day, night. The shop is empty except for Destiny. Ben enters and looks around. Ben, I've decided to play pinball. Destiny, it's strictly your decision. Ben, where are the other players? Oh, they're here. I don't want distractions. Ben, I know how to play pinball. I'm ready. Destiny, if you say so, just remember that you decided you wanted this. Ben and Destiny approach the pinball machine. Ben looks at Destiny. Destiny nods and then vanishes. Ben studies the pinball machine carefully. He gets into position and looks for the start button. He presses the button and a ball comes up. Ben pulls the plunger and sends the first ball up shooter lane to the playing field. The ball strikes a thumper and then a bumper. Pinball machine sounds. Ben concentrates on the ball as it leaves a bumper and comes toward him. He gets ready to press the flipper buttons. Ben's life unfolds on the pinball machine back glass. Close up, pinball machine playfield. Ben hits the ball with a flipper, pinball machine sound. The ball goes up the playfield and strikes another bumper, pinball machine sound. The ball bounces to a second bumper, double pinball machine sound. Interior, Pinball Heaven shop, night. Ben checks his score. Out loud to himself, not bad, I can do better. Come on, Ben, concentrate. Ben launches the second ball. The players reappear at their machines. Loud cacophony of pinball machine sounds. Cut to black. Lights and power cut off. Only Destiny is visible in a shaft of light. What the hell? What's going on, Destiny? Frustrating, isn't it? Just like life. I wanted to make a point with you. You're getting to what I like to call crossroads in your future. Ben, voiceover in the dark. I prefer choices. I get to choose. Destiny, how has that turned out for you? Ben, I have nothing to lose. I don't want the life I have, so taking a chance is my only shot at a life I might want. So how about turning the lights and the pinball machine back on so I can start over? Cut to lights and power restored. Ben's pinball machine lights up. Pinball machine sounds. Ben struggles to move. He cannot. Destiny has stopped any ability he has for movement. Destiny, almost laughing. You better play like your life depends on it. It does. I stopped the game to make you think about what's at stake. Destiny restores Ben's ability to move. Ben grabs the buttons and begins to play the second ball, which now travels up the shooter lane towards the playfield. Pinball machine sounds. Lights flash on the back glass. Series of shots. Ben plays faster and faster. The black glass lights become bright and blinding, and the pinball machine sounds become loud and deafening until the pinball machine explodes and then becomes dark and silent. Ben, did I win Destiny? Destiny. That's to be seen. What does that mean? Will I have a life? You'll see. Goodbye, Gwen. Ben. Smash cut to exterior, Pinball Heaven Shop, day. The Pinball Heaven Shop is no longer there. Ben wears a three-piece suit and carries a trial briefcase. He walks in the direction of his car parked on the street. Angela, 27, the same actor as Destiny, stops Ben. Angela, excuse me. Ben stops. Angela, do you know how to change a tire? Ben, is this one of those interviews for YouTube? Angela, I wish. No, I came back to my car and the tire was flat. I have no idea how to change it. Ben, well, in that case, yes, I'm a lawyer who knows how to change a tire. Angela, a lawyer, huh? Ben, yes, one that got clobbered in court today. Angela, so will you help with my tire? Ben, sure. I'm Ben, Ben Tate. Angela, Angela Destino. Ben and Angela walk to her car. Angela opens the trunk. Ben takes out the jack and lug wrench. Ben stops and stares at Angela. Ben, you know, you look familiar. Angela, tell you what, I'm buying you lunch for doing the tire. Ben, I accept. Ben works on the tire. Angela, you ever play pinball, Ben? Ben, not since I was a kid. Why would you ask that? Angela, because life and the people you meet in your life are as random as a pinball bouncing around on a pinball machine. Ben looks up at Angela. A memory is vaguely triggered, but then vanishes. Angela turns to the audience, smiles, and winks.
Thank you for that, Jim.
That is the end.
Caroline, can we see you? Hi again.
Hi.
Hello. Let's start off with an introduction, please, if you would.
Hi, I'm Caroline. I'm a psychology graduate student. I'm a writer and screenwriter. I also write fiction and creative nonfiction. I'm currently working as a registered behavioral therapist, and I'm also a dancer. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology and I minored in creative writing. Typically write about I love intersections, humor and grief, narrative, mental health. But most of my writing, I would say, consists topics of intimacy, identity, and just the surreal edges of everyday life is what I'm really
Okay.
interested in.
And how old are you?
I am 23, just turned
Okay.
23.
Thank you very much for that. And what are you going to be sharing with us?
I will be sharing a script I wrote called Can a Parent Give You Their Sad Face? I would say the genre falls dark comedy,
Okay.
and it is 12 pages.
Can we do 6? Would that be
Yes,
fair?
I was,
Just to make sure?
yes. I will be reading pages, the ending of 6 to 12. So it cuts
Sounds
more at
good.
5, but yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's fine. Okay. We're ready when you are.
yes, this is context. She just visited the gynecologist, stole a fish, and she's found out she will be experiencing premenopause. Um,
Okay.
Interior Bunny's house, entryway moments later. Alice walks in alone, holding her tote like it contains a human heart. She sets it down gently. The woman sits alone, clutching her bag, listening to the soft sloshes of the stolen. Surreal interlude, fish vision, blurry light, sloshing movement, Alice's face distorted by the lid. A giantess, a god. The fish opens and closes its mouth. Interior Bunny's kitchen, later. Alice stands frozen in the kitchen, tote bag still slung over her shoulder. Through the thin canvas, she feels it, the slight rawness, the unsettling stillness inside. She waits until she hears Bunny's car pull out of the driveway. Only then does she move. She sets the tote carefully on top of the counter, opens it, pulls out the pea cup. The fish inside is listing, hard to one side, gills fluttering weakly, barely alive. Alice panics, heart lurching. Alice. Hang on, little guy. She looks around the kitchen, grabs a glass from the dish rack, fills it with tap water, carefully pours the fish into the glass. It floats there, gasping. She leans in close, absurd, breathless, as if willing it to recover by sheer force. Alice, come on, you're okay, you're fine. She rubs the glass with her pointer finger lightly, watches. The fish spasms once, then goes still. Its tiny body hovers motionless in the water, eyes bulging, limply floating. Alice, just like Cousin Christy. She sinks into the kitchen chair, holding the glass with both arms to her chest, as if it were a child she could rock back to life. Interior, Bunny's kitchen later. Bunny enters the front door, drops her keys in the ceramic dish. The woman sits lifelessly at the kitchen table. Bunny, did you rent the movie? I was telling Mrs. Carmichael I've always been Meg, and you've been a combination of Joe and Beth. Like a Beth before she's terminally ill, though. Bunny pulls out two green juice bottles from the fridge, tries to hand one over to Alice. She sees the empty pea cup on the counter. Alice is holding a glass of tap water and the guppy to her chest. Bunny, oh my God, beat. Bunny, did you take that from your gyno? Alice, yes, it died. Bunny, right. Bunny exhales. Alice, I always thought something would happen. A glowing pea stick, a secret pot of gold in my belly. Bunny, still could, maybe. Alice looks towards Bunny's fridge, covered in Bunny's kids' art projects, finger paintings, misspelled names, construction paper dinosaurs. Alice, I used to think I'd forget it somewhere, like if I had my own, my baby. I leave it in a cab, beat. Or worse, remember too much, say something it would carry forever, beat. Alice puts her cartoonish smile and laughs a bit. Do a lot of women destroy their lives in their 40s and then one day wake up with no period, no partner, and only themselves to blame? Bunny does not laugh. Bunny, go lie down. You've had a long day. Interior guest bathroom, night. Alice stands at the mirror. The toilet has just flushed. The pea cup lid sits beside the sink like a button popped off a coat no longer needed. She lifts her face, gently pulls down one eyelid, touches the corner of her mouth, as if checking for herself in her own face. A knock. Bunny off screen. You okay? The door creaks open. Bunny steps in, cautious. Bunny notices the pea cup, the posture, the heaviness of the room. Bunny, just wanted to make sure you didn't fall asleep in here or something. Alice, I flushed the fish. Bunny leans against the door frame, arms folded. Alice, I was just. Alice looks back into the mirror. Alice to her reflection. That's Mom's face. Bunny. Yeah, I see it sometimes too, usually when I'm about to say something mean at the grocery store. Alice. She never said much, just looked tired all the time. Well, not tired, sad. She had a sad face. Bunny says nothing. She just walks to stand next to Alice in the mirror, noticing the differences in their faces. Alice. Your face is so happy, Bunny. Alice looks down at the teacup lid, not sure how it got into the bathroom with her. Alice. My sad face. I think I got it from her, our mom. A silence stretches, together in the mirror. Bunny moves a hair at Alice's eyes, neither agreeing or disagreeing. Bunny walks forward, picks up the empty teacup lid by the rim with thumb and forefinger, like it's evidence of something toxic. Bunny, I'll throw this out. Bunny leaves. Alice turns back to the mirror, switches off the light. Interior guest bedroom night. Alice lies on the bed in Bunny's guest room, one hand resting on her stomach. She inhales deeply, letting her belly rise into a soft, temporary swell. Her palm follows the movement, cradling it almost. Then she exhales. The curve disappears beneath her fingers. Surreal interlude, fish afterlife. A glowing aquarium floats in the void, like a chapel made of water. The guppy swims again, whole, celestial. Other fishes circle it like mourners. The guppy moves towards the curtain of red seaweed, dense and soft, like velvet pulled across the stage. Disappears. The end.
Lovely. Thank you for that, young lady. Okay, Jacqueline, let's see you. Hi again.
Hello.
Okay, let's start with your introduction.
All right. So, hi, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Delisi. I am 31 years old, and the script that was accepted here that I wrote is called She's All Mine.
Mhm.
It's a horror, thriller, suspense, kind of short. It was initially um, inspired by a strange photo that was sent to me by a close friend, roughly about a decade ago.
Okay,
And it is now, I've been, slowly on and off developing it over the last 10 years. And I finished it earlier this year, so I decided to submit it around, and here we are.
yeah,
Um, I'm really excited to share a small excerpt with you. It's about roughly about 6.5 pages.
okay,
It's going to be the first 6.5 pages of it. So we're going to be introduced to the protagonists, Ava and Catalina.
okay,
And also, we're going to get a small glimpse into the antagonists, Agatha and Theodore, who play their elderly neighbors who might not be as nice and harmless as one might think.
okay.
So here we go. Um, I'm going to get started. And thank you so much to Cindy and the Art of the Live Film Festival for having me here today. I appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Okay, interior suburban home, kitchen, evening. Ava enters her new home and kicks off her heels. Ava, babe, are you home? Ava heads straight into the kitchen and texts her fiance. She starts making dinner, settling into the quiet. She plates the food when suddenly, Catalina, hey, Ava screams and flips the plate, somehow catching it perfectly with all the food still intact. Ava, Cat, what the hell? Why didn't you text me back? Catalina pops into frame, amused. Catalina, wow, that was an impressive catch. Ava stares, deadpan. Do I look amused? Catalina removes the plate from Ava's hands and sets it down gently on the table. She wraps her arms around Ava's waist. Catalina, I'm sorry. I went out for my run and left my phone here. Then when I came in and I heard you cooking up a storm, I thought, how perfect of a moment is this to scare the absolute shit out of you. Ava, you're not funny. Catalina, not even a little bit. Ava, nope. Catalina giggles and holds Ava's gaze. Catalina, I really missed you this week. Ava, what do you mean? I've been here all week. Catalina, I know, but you've been so busy at work and you're exhausted by the time you get home, and I've just missed you. Ava softens and holds her. Ava, you're right. It's been a rough week, but I promise this weekend it's just you, me, and the couch. No work. For the next 3 days, I'm all yours, and I'm all yours, Catalina says. They kiss. It's familiar, intimate, easy. Interior, bedroom the next morning. Catalina laces up her running shoes at the edge of the bed. Ava wakes up, groaning. Ava, Cat, no. Catalina, and good morning to you too. She crosses over to Ava and kisses her good morning. Ava, you know you're breaking my promise to you, right? Catalina, what? Ava, I promised you some genuine quality time. Catalina, yeah. Ava, and you going for a run and being all healthy is breaking that promise. Catalina, you could always join me. They stare at each other for a beat, then they both chuckle out. No. Catalina runs her fingers through Ava's curly long hair. Catalina, go back to sleep. I'll be back before you wake up. Ava stretches dramatically. Ava, nope, I'm already up and I'm going to make you breakfast, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Catalina giggles. Catalina, oh no, not your famous chocolate chip pancakes. Ava, yeah, and maybe my huevos rancheros too, just because. As Ava leaves the room, oh no, lions and tigers in pairs, oh my. Ava, enjoy the run. Catalina, I intend to. Ava can't help but smile as Catalina leaves the house. Exterior, street, continuous. Catalina steps out with her bright blue custom water bottle, stretches, starts her watch, and proceeds to jog down the street. She passes her elderly neighbor, Agatha Walker, watering her plants. Catalina, hi, Mrs. Walker. Agatha, oh, hello, dear. Kat continues on. As she disappears beyond the bend, Agatha's smile collapses into a grimace. She storms into her house. Interior, kitchen, continuous. Ava dances around the kitchen, cooking breakfast, music playing. She glances at the clock, timing everything to Catalina's usual route. The pancakes start to cool. Exterior, street, a little later. Catalina's nearly home when Agatha bursts from her house, waving her down. Agatha, oh, my dear, wait just a minute. Kat slows down, and pulls out her AirPods so she can hear her neighbor. Catalina, hey, Mrs. Walker, is something wrong? Agatha, thank you for stopping. It's my cat, Felix. He's stuck on top of my dresser again, and I just can't reach him. Would you mind helping me? He can never get down by himself. Kat checks her watch, then glances longingly towards her home, so close to the weekend that her fiance promised her. Catalina, um, sure, of course. Agatha, oh, thank you so much, dear. You're a lifesaver. Kat sets her water bottle down in the grass next to the fence and follows Agatha into her house through the door. Agatha closes the door quietly behind them and locks it. Interior, Agatha's house, continuous. The house is dusty, dim, untouched. Catalina, so where is your cat exactly? Agatha, he's right through there. Last bedroom down the hall on top of the dresser. Kat walks down the long hallway into the bedroom, empty. Catalina, Mrs. Walker, I'm not seeing him anywhere. Could he have gotten down by himself? She looks back. Agatha stands far down the hallway, oddly rigid, blocking the route to the front door. Catalina, Mrs. Walker? Kat steps towards her, uneasy. Without warning, Theodore bursts from a closet behind Kat, grabbing her and covering her mouth. Kat tries to scream, struggles hard. Theo injects something into her neck. Her vision blurs, knees buckle. Agatha steps closer. Agatha, I knew you'd always come back to me. Kat collapses right into Theo's arms as she passes out. And that's where I'm going to stop.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Before we start, I will throw it out to the audience. I usually like to ask everybody who's in attendance, does anyone here at all have any questions for any of the screenwriters here before we start? So I'll just wait a minute. Okay, I get them for myself then. Okay, let me just do an introduction of myself. I am the founder of Art is Alive Film Festival. I've been here for, I believe this is my 7th year. I'm very disappointed that we are virtual, but still happy to be doing this at all together. My background is both in film and in media. I have been working in media for probably about 20 years or so. I have a television show on public access television. I have a magazine that is published every other month. I was on radio for 10 years and I got into film approximately 11, 12 years ago. I started off as a film judge and then eventually as a film critic. And then someone told me it would be a great idea to start Art is Alive. The whole purpose of Art is Alive is to get people seen that don't get seen enough, meaning Hollywood does not apparently embrace us as much as we should. So I try to give writers, actors, and directors everything that they need, all the skills and all the stuff that they need to become more successful and more importantly to be seen, which is why I think screenplay writing is so very important, because oftentimes screenplays are written but don't get optioned, don't get seen, kind of just sit there. So the idea here is to get it seen and to get it noticed, not just by an audience, but on a much bigger level. So that's a bit about me. So I'm going to throw these questions out. We'll start with Jim and then we'll just go across the line. So Jim, I'm going to ask you first and I'll ask the ladies as well. If I were to ask you, what your actual definition of a screenwriter is. What is that?
Well, if I were being flip about it, I'd say someone who doesn't like to write novels but wants to write anyway. Uh, Even though we know, thanks to Abraham Lincoln, that it is more difficult to write something short than something long.
Yes.
And but it, basically, that someone who's writing, whose presentation, whose structure is made with the intention of having it produced on film or whatever the similar media is.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you for that. Jacqueline, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jim for sure. I think I would say the screenwriter at the core, they're storytellers, pretty much. I do like his answer of people who don't like writing novels but want to write something anyway. That was a good answer, Jim. Um, oh yeah, just a storyteller, someone who has a story that is can be paced and structured enough to be told so that someone else can understand it. I think is important, and I think if someone's able to read something and that they're able to visualize it in their head,
Yeah.
I think that's the sign of a good screenwriter. If you're able to imagine the words on screen, if that makes sense.
Yes, it sure did. Thank you very much for that. Caroline, as far as you, what would you say is your accurate definition of a screenwriter?
I would say as someone who also does creative writing, fiction writing, all that, AP writing, for screenwriting, you have to be someone who's not afraid to kill your darlings. You have to be
Mm.
willing to work with the filmmaker. And if you have a piece where there is nothing you want to change, there is no scene you want to cut, you want it visualized by your readers a certain way, you can't make it into a screenplay. You
Oh,
have to
no,
be willing to kill your darlings. You have to be willing to have it interpreted in many, many different ways. But that's also the beauty of screenwriting.
you bet.
That can
Absolutely.
develop your piece so much further.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I'm going to throw these questions out to any one of you. All three of you can answer, or one of you selectively. My next question is, do you feel in the year 2025 that writing as a profession is one that is still respected and honored and trusted?
Mm. That's a challenge. I think it is. I think in the part of people who do not come to writing naturally or find it a pleasurable activity, there is a little jealousy going on. But I think people who write well do generate a level of respect from others.
Hmm.
I found even among lawyers there were those who would uh, participate and write articles summarizing legal developments, some narrow expertise, and others that could not bring themselves to do it.
Mhm.
It actually turns out to be a very effective business development thing because it paints you as an expert.
Sure.
I think if someone writes a screenplay about a particular topic, someone reading it that has some knowledge may say, "Oh, yeah, that writer knows their stuff."
Sure. I get you. Ladies, any thoughts on that?
I do agree with Jim. I think that especially people who are published as AP writers, law writers, you come with a respect that is almost granted to you. I think as a
Mm.
creative writer, you have to be good. You have to earn that respect. And it is so hard to earn. You will not earn everyone's respect as a creative writer. And it's something you have to accept because not everyone is your audience. And so
Mm.
not everyone will respect your work, and I think it's something that you have to be okay with. But I do believe that there is uh, layers to writing, and the people who are writing uh, your objective writing, there is respect that just comes with it. Whereas as a creative, it's not always granted to you.
Gotcha. I do. Jacqueline?
Yeah, I think jumping off what Caroline just said, she's absolutely right. If you find not everyone is going to appreciate or respect the specific writing that you do. Like for me, I primarily write horror and thriller shorts, but and also depending on it depends on what you find scary specifically. Like what I find scary, you might not necessarily find scary, or vice versa,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's very objective. It's very if you find your people, if you find your niche, and your specific kind of audience that you're trying to write for,
Mhm.
then I believe that you'll gain the respect that you should ultimately deserve.
Makes sense. I want to jump over to the other side of the fence, talk about formatting for a minute. Every screenwriter I've ever written has always said, well, you probably should use this format, but I use this. So let's talk a minute about actually writing the screenplay and what formats you use online. Do you guys have one specific program that you use, or do you float around and try different ones?
I've
I
been using
use
the same one
Faded.
for 10 years.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
I use Fade In.
Okay.
I actually won a copy of Final Draft, and frankly, I found for what I'm doing and not generating production ready, all of the other exhibits that Final Draft will do, that Fade In does everything that I want to do. And as I became more conversant with it, it works very well for me. I do keep a copy of the Hollywood Standard handy. So
Oh,
when
okay.
I either have not done something before or can't remember, because I'm old, how to do it, that is my resource.
Thank you for that. Okay, Jacqueline, go ahead.
I've been using the same program for 10 years. It's a Adobe Story. Even though I think they discontinued it, I still use it
Okay.
because I feel like it's just the most user friendly and helpful tool for me.
Hmm.
I learned editing, writing, Photoshop, all within the Adobe suite. So Adobe Story is really the only software that I've used. I tried Final Draft once, but then
Hmm.
it was just too different. So I said, you know what, let me just go back into Adobe Story. And it's never failed me yet. So I
Very
think I'm just gonna
nice.
continue with that. Thank you.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's right.
Exactly, correct, exactly.
Carolyn, how about you?
I was gifted Final Draft by my professor, and
Ooh.
so you throughout my degree, I was using Final Drafts, and then as my degree ran up, she gifted it to me, and I'm still using it. I love it, and I definitely think it is the type of thing where it is almost so easy that if you aren't used to it, it's hard, but
Hmm.
it is what I started using first, so.
Very nice. Okay, good to know that one. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask the obvious question. All of us are writers, and I'm assuming that at least once in your life, if not more, you have found yourself sitting around the house thinking, I can't write a thing because, of course, I'm stuck in that writer's block for the 75th time. Oh, and then I throw pencils and throw other things. So I'm like, okay. So my question to all of you is any remedy you have found that works for writer's block? Anything?
I keep a writer's box with ideas when I have them, and if I'm looking for something to do because I'm not coming up with anything, I just flip through those ideas, 99% of
You going
which
now?
I ignore.
All right. Did you talk to
Excuse me.
Lucas?
Excuse me. Is there someone on this line who's not muted?
I think so.
I just want to make sure. It's just hard because when you're talking, I want people to be able to hear you. Um, I'm sorry. Did you finish your thought?
No, I think that was really the gist of it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, and as far as you ladies, anything tried and true that you're like totally fixes the issue because it's so frustrating.
Honestly, just walking away from it, like either physically walking away from the laptop or
Yeah.
your notebook or whatever it is that you're writing in, and literally just taking time away. I'm working on a feature right now, and I had to take significant time away from it because it was becoming like it was getting frustrating that I couldn't figure out how to move forward with it. So I took like a month and a half away from it, and then I went back in. It started flowing like crazy. Like I couldn't really stop it. So yeah, just taking whatever amount of time you need to take away from it, that usually works for me.
Understood. Gotcha. And as for you, young lady, anything at all?
I personally love a flawed character. I love exploring the flaws humans carry every single day. I'll go to the seven deadly sins, pick one, develop a character where that is their main flaw. That's my go-to. But also, I really believe writer's block is just a deep belief that whatever you're about to create is going to be bad. And so I think a lot of it is also just self-reflection of why do I not believe in myself right now? What is going on in my life?
I get you. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for that. I have talked to a number of different screenwriters, and there are some that are of the very firm belief that there is such a thing as too short or too long of a screenplay. Do any of you concur with that belief? And if so, why?
Well, they're industry
100%.
standards for the
Right.
feature.
Right. But I mean, let's say we take out the standards. Let's say there is no standard, for instance, and we just kind of threw that out to the wayside. Let's say I didn't give you a limit and you could have gone sky's the limit as far as writing. Do you think there should be a minimum and a maximum so as to create the preferred, well, quote unquote, best screenplay you could?
100%. I think so. Anyway, as far as it being too long, yes, I've recently watched two different movies. They were both around 2.5 hours long. They could have easily been a half hour shorter, and they would have been
Sure.
perfect movies. But no, they had to get weird and go a half hour longer and just make it so bizarre. And I said, but why did they need to do that? It wasn't necessary. But
Okay.
anyway, so yes, I do believe that that there should be a limit as far as how long a movie should be. Um, Short, I think if you go to see a movie and you feel like it is too short, that generally just means that you want more of it. So that means that it
Mhm.
was really a good film and you enjoyed it so much, so you just wanted to see more action, more plot, more exposition, whatever it is that you enjoyed about that movie. Um, so yeah, so yes, I think that there should be a limit, but yeah, I think there should be some kind of a
So do
limit
you
in there
think
somewhere. Yeah.
the 120 cutoff is fair? That's what I was, because that's I believe my limit is 120 pages. Do you feel that that's sufficient or even that's too long?
I think the 120 is a good sweet spot because again,
Okay.
I'm telling you, I timed it out with these two movies that I watched recently. I looked at the timestamp. It was exactly at the 2 hour mark where they both went downhill. I said, but why bother? I digress. So yes, I do think that 120 should be is a
The spot.
solid benchmark. Yes, that's
Gotcha.
the sweet spot right there.
I gotcha. Do you two
Is,
have anything to add on that?
isn't there also the consideration that if you get longer than that from an industry standpoint, the production cost will come off the rails?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Without a doubt. Absolutely. Some people don't care about that, but that's absolutely right. In fact, most of the people I deal with on the film side are usually looking at 90 pages. That's a really safe window where people can financially afford to do it. Then there's also the idea of if it gets to be too long, like you're mentioning, people get bored. You know, it's hard for me to sit through a Hollywood movie that's 2.5 hours. Now imagine if it's an indie production and you're doing 2.5 hours, it's not a practical thing. So that's why I thought I'd throw that out there, the idea about how much writing becomes too much writing, where the only person you're serving is the writer and not everyone else that's involved with it. So that's a concern for me, of course. Speaking of which, have you optioned any of your scripts or done things with your screenplay film wise?
My piece that I've shared today, we have filmed a proof of concept. I have a great producer. We're switching up the directors and the actors for the
Sure.
actual production. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes. So everything is still in
Okay.
pre-production, obviously. But yeah, I'm
Okay.
really excited to see the proof of concepts, and I'm I found a producer who's very passionate about the project, so I'm very, very happy.
Love that. That's awesome. And you two, have you done anything yet, like film wise, off the screenplays you've done?
I've had one short produced and a
Mhm.
feature option. And I will say that when your script gets into the hands of a director and a producer, and the cast doesn't seem like the person you had in mind, it can be very jarring. And
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
it's not their appearance, it's their voice. Or why
Huh.
did you have that? In the one that was produced, it was actually shot in New Hampshire. And at first I asked the director, why did you eliminate the black characters? And he said, because, and this, it was actually shot mostly during the COVID thing. He said,
Oh,
in this town, there is a zero black population. It's like, okay,
okay then. Oh my gosh.
it's hard to argue with.
Sure.
So,
Okay, I gotcha. And Jacqueline, for you, have you done anything yet film-wise?
I mean, I was able to produce a short film that I co-wrote several years ago called Hunger. That was a journey. We filmed for 4 days, 14-hour days, and by the end of it, we were all going insane. But it was definitely the best ride that I'd been on. Um, as far as this goes, I haven't had it, optioned yet. But congratulations, Caroline, for getting this screenplay that you've shared with us today option. That's amazing that you've gotten this far so far in your production process. Um, I Right now, I'm still submitting the script around. I'm still trying to see what can be done with it. I've already sort of written a new version of it that I feel like sort of took it to a new level. And so I'm hoping that just keeps getting more and more recognition like it got here today. And I don't know. I'm trying to see where this one can take me so far.
Gotcha. I understand. Now, Jim, because you mentioned you're a little over 40. Yes, I heard your age.
yes.
Um, and we have younger writers in the room here. If there is one strong bit of advice you could give to any writer out there, including the ones that are here, as far as their writing journey or any direction you think they should take, what would that look like?
Well, I think the first thing is to decide what you want from it. Are you looking for a career ultimately? Are you doing it in support of your mental health? What is the reason? I think most people write because they have to write. They're going to write. It's not,
Yes.
it's within them,
Mhm.
and and it comes out. And the other thing that I suspect writers inherently do is, if you want to be a writer, you have to write all the time. You have to think about writing. Whatever your media is, go and keep current with what is being produced, if that is your direction. And it's just like to understand, gee, this was like 90 to 100 minutes. I'm not seeing anything longer than that. So in your mind, that should be, okay, my 300-page screenplay may be a little long. But to really keep doing it, keep thinking about it, because I have certainly found that over the time that I've been writing screenplays, the level of selection has gone up and up and up. And I think, like anything else, it's practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies, I don't want to forget to ask you this because Jim had already addressed this to some degree. Any thoughts about, or any concerns, should I say, about AI integration as far as writing and somehow eliminating us in the future? What are your thoughts?
AI, oof.
Mm,
It's a scary beast. Whenever I hear AI, my mind immediately goes to iRobot that came out in 2004 with Will Smith. Um, I mean, as far as it eliminate, I mean, look, as far as AI goes with the entertainment industry as a whole, I do unfortunately believe that at some point it is probably going to take over everything. I think that's just where we're heading, which is it's unfortunate, but I think that we will over time, I think we'll figure out how to evolve with AI and figure out where we fit in as far as the AI integration goes within the entertainment industry. I don't think writers are going anywhere anytime soon. I think because at least as far as I'm aware, with AI, AI can't necessarily create. They need some kind of a prompt in order to figure anything out. So, and who inputs the prompt? Humans do. So, I mean, as far as writing specifically goes, I don't I think we're going to be one of the last ones to go. Let's say.
That's all I'm
Fingers
saying right
crossed.
there.
Yes. Correct.
Yes. Carolyn, how about you?
I definitely think I'm coming from an interesting perspective because I love the arts. I'm a writer, I'm definitely a creative, but I'm super interested in AI. A part of my studies was in cognitive science. I think it's
Mm,
super interesting. Um, and I also think the checks on AI are not talked about enough. There are checks within, and so I don't think that this is going to become an overtaking being, because it's never going to be a being. I think the checks are there, and I think that they are working. And as far as the writing, I mean, you can read AI writing and it's bad. I don't think it's going to replace a person any day. I think it's pretty objectively bad, and I don't think it can. Maybe not so much for screenwriting, but for other types of creative writing, especially hybrid writing, poetry, it cannot structure or format writing the way a human can. I just don't think it ever will be able to. I think it might, some people's jobs are threatened, but I don't think that the writers are going anywhere.
thank you for that. Yes, I think we have the human touch, literally. And I think that we put a lot of heart and passion into our writing, and that can't be replaced by any artificial intelligence. Um, Before I forget to ask each one of you, Jim and Jacqueline and Carolyn, please tell everyone, and not so much necessarily for those in the room, but anyone who will see this later on, how to get in contact with you if they want to hire you, if they want to see more of your work, if they want to support you.
I use email, jimnormanwriter@gmail.com.
Thank you. And Jacqueline?
Oh yeah, you can also email me as well, jsdolisi@gmail.com.
And do you happen to have social media or places where people can see your work?
At the moment I do not, but I am working on that. When I get a social media campaign going for this project specifically, I'll
Okay,
be able to post that out.
gotcha. And as for you, Carolyn?
Yes, my email is first name, last name at gmail.com, carolynhuckabee@gmail.com. And on my Instagram is just carolyn.huckabee. I have tons of links to some of my recent publications, and I'm also on Substack, just
Oh,
Carolyn
nice.
Huckabee.
They're very, very nice. Thank you so much for that. Gosh, the hour went by almost, I mean, it was like in a blink of an eye. So the last few things that I want to say is first off, to everyone in the room, I cannot thank you enough for the support. It's always much more difficult to get independent events of any kind, or virtually for that matter, supported. So I appreciate that you are here and actually supporting everyone here. To my writers here in the room, the founder is still doing the festival. So my hope is at some point in time tomorrow, you will all find out whether you've been nominated or not for Best Screenplay. The award show is happening this Sunday. So if you are receiving a nomination, you will get your laurel. You'll get information about how to attend, and anyone can attend, by the way, your loved ones, yourself, the whole nine yards. You just need a ticket for that. So I'll keep you posted as far as that stuff goes. On that, and give you my information, everything that I can on that. You all three will also be getting all the links to attend any of the screenings that are still going on for the rest of the week, or any of the past films. I'll send you the film guide if you guys want to check out and see what's in screening, excuse me, at the film festival. I also sent you information about, did you guys get the information about interviews or reviews of your work?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, not
You didn't get
yet.
that email? Okay, I will resend to you because I have outlets that want to do interviews with you. And then I do have two individuals that also do like book and screenplay reviews. So if you're interested in that, you can respond back to me as far as that goes. Any other questions for me? Anything I didn't address? Anything?
No, I think basically all of us really appreciate this opportunity to read our own work and hear work by others. It gives you a sense of what's going on. And as has been mentioned, and I forget who did it, the goal is when someone is reading a screenplay or listening to a reading of a screenplay, you know it works when it starts to play in your own head.
Absolutely.
You
And
see the movie differently than the writer did, but there is a movie playing in your head. And a lot of people write that way too.
oh
They
God, yeah.
look like a court reporter and they're taking down this movie that's playing in their head.
Absolutely. You bet. Let me just stop this. You know, I could